Hey guys, Nick here, and today we are getting into part 23 of What If Madison's Family Joined Rick, where we are getting into the road sequence with Simon and the Saviors, and the revelation of the militia and the tank, which is yet to be revealed, and what will happen henceforth, especially at the lineup. Let's get into it. Now, Rick and everybody else, the group I discussed in the last episode, are on their way to the hilltop to take Maggie because she's pregnant, and Glenn's already dead, so she's pretty much just alone. And Simon and the Saviors counter them on the road, tell them they want their stuff, and then Rick, of course, speaks out and says the deal's not going to work for him, and says that he wants all of their stuff, except he doesn't think he has to kill any of them. Basically the speech that he made before against Simon, but he doesn't get the chance to finish it, because right whenever he's talking, boom, a huge explosion can be heard from behind them. Rick and everybody else looks back, and to their chagrin, to their surprise, to their utter fear, a forest behind them is burning, with fire, smoke, and everything around it just burning and burst into flames within the matter of a few seconds. And they look again to the Savior's direction to see a tank slowly inch out of part of the woods from the Savior's direction, and Mitch being the one who fired. And then, to the right of them, so to the right of the RV, Pete and several other members of both the militia and normal Saviors come out with guns drawn on the entire group. So they don't even get the chance to drive to several directions this time. Rick, seeing as though they really don't have any kind of chance to fight here, and that they're not going to be going anywhere anytime soon, have no choice but to do what the Saviors ask. They turn over their weapons to the Saviors at their area, and they're led to a gigantic little clearing, and that's where they meet Negan. And this is where we get into the start of Negan and the whole lineup situation. I said gigantic little clearing. It's decently big. But anyways, that's not the prime concern. We get into Negan's whole speech to the group, and that he wants half of their stuff and wants them to work for him. Pretty much Negan's whole spiel. That's not going to change here, obviously, except the entrance to Negan. That's what changed. And obviously more characters. Speaking of which, when Negan goes to pick who he's going to smash in the head with Lucille, Madison tries to talk him out of it, saying that there can be a way back from this. They don't need more blood on either end. But Negan ain't buying anything of what Madison's selling, and says that he's going to do this whether they like it or not, and then they can talk about making good deals. And Madison has no choice but to shut up. Then Negan goes over to where Maggie is, but Glenn's not around to try and fight, so whenever Negan goes to say he wants to put Maggie out of her misery, like he did before, it's Dale who doesn't attack, because it's Dale. He speaks out, saying that Maggie is pregnant, and her husband Glenn was killed not too long ago. Not by their men, but by one of their own group. And if Negan kills her, he's basically killing an entire family. Negan's just like, don't care. Basically not caring at all, because even if the revelation of Maggie being pregnant was revealed then, do you really think it would have mattered? My What If Negan Killed Maggie remake further explains that, because Negan didn't know and he wouldn't care unless it was put against him in a way where he wouldn't be able to fight back. Anyways, his first victim is unfortunately Abraham, because obviously, which causes Daryl to, of course, punch Negan after he taunts Rosita, and Negan going to see who he's going to bash in the head next. And Owen, even though he's been sort of redeemed because of Morgan, and this wouldn't be the first story that I've done this, introducing Owen as a good guy now, but his wolf instincts are kicking in. And he already does not like the Saviors and what he's been introduced to him. So, he gets up thinking he's going to do something and goes to attack Negan. But Negan just decides, you know what? I was probably going to kill this guy anyway, because there isn't really a hard decision to pick through the entire group. So, he just decides Owen's doing the work for him, or he doesn't know his name, but this guy's just doing the work for me, and just kills Owen. So, Daryl doesn't die, nobody else dies except Abraham and Owen. Well, at least for now. Now, Dale, he knows that Morgan's most likely 100% going to step out and probably attack Negan. He looks at him, he doesn't say anything, but he basically looks at Morgan with eyes like, dude, if you step out of line and fight, you're going to end up where Owen and Abraham are now, with their heads bashed in to nothingness. So you need to stand down. But Morgan doesn't get the memo. He doesn't understand or pay attention. He is not in any kind of way in the world of which everybody else is in. Morgan's a clear moment. And his mind is flashing, and basically Crazy Morgan's coming back. His mind flashes to Dwayne and Jenny. And then it flashes to Rick shooting Dwayne's walker, and then him having that sense, and that's why he killed Travis. And then his mind flashes to Owen just now getting bashed in the head and even coming back as a walker, even though we wouldn't see that because his head got bashed in. It honestly is just how we would see Morgan interpreting the situation. Crazy Morgan. Now, in a blink of an eye, Crazy Morgan just jumps up, and the Saviors near him, he overpowers them with his hands, knocks them down, grabs his stick, and knocks all the Saviors near him to the ground before they have a chance to shoot him. Now, the rest of the Saviors around all arm their weapons and stand right in front of Morgan, because no one else is firing or doing anything. They're still guarding the group, but Morgan is the prime concern, because now the Saviors have deemed him to be dangerous. If he could overpower the Saviors with just his hands. Morgan, you really honestly think that he is going to just lay down after getting weapons armed on him? Crazy Morgan, of course not! As a matter of fact, he hurls his stick straight into Negan's neck. And nobody was expecting this. Negan, least of all. But, of course, if you did not already guess, this does kill him. And it's not the first time where I've had Negan, die in a scenario. But if it comes down to it, gotta do it. So, of course, this does kill Negan, with the stick still lodged into his throat, or through his throat. Just imagine looking at that. Rick, seeing the opportunity, just looks to everybody, and they're like, yeah, we're doing this. And they all jump up within the blink of an eye, secure their weapons from the Saviors around them, and begin to fight the Saviors off one by one until they're sure that they're not on the losing side anymore, because Morgan presented a great opportunity by killing the leader. But Simon, he ain't afraid, and Saviors aren't backing down. Why is that? Because Simon tells the group that they can't do anything because the Saviors have one ace in the hole they forgot about, the tank. And this makes Rick and everybody stop short. But not for long. Because Mitch, the one in charge of the tank, obviously, is suddenly shot down in the chest with an arrow, resembling a similar scenario from Season 4. Daryl. He immediately, once Simon had basically just said, hey, we still got the tank, Daryl's just like, not for long, and he takes the initiative, takes down Mitch, and steps up to the top of the tank and says that the Saviors better back down or he's going to fire this thing like there's no tomorrow. Now, Pete, being a smarter, or at least one of the smarter Saviors, even though he was never a savior, but we would know him to be because of how Pete was, especially around the governor. He was soft, but he was smart. Now, Pete would be like, yeah, we should probably go. Our leader's dead. The guy's got a tank. Some of our men are dead. Most of them are dead already. We should get out of here. Now, Simon, very begrudgingly, is forced to cooperate with this method, but says that the Saviors will avenge Negan, and they will get revenge to a vengeance. But anyways, the Saviors ultimately back down and return to the sanctuary, which would be unknown to the group at this time. After all this is said and done, the group unfortunately has to mourn the losses of Abraham and Owen, but they do thank Morgan. And this thank you doesn't just come from Rick, but a lot of people, because Morgan presented a great opportunity and saved everyone's lives. Rick is the first one to thank him because now they have a tank, and yeah, he's pretty much saved him again, just like he did before. Although he was crazy, so yeah. Daryl thanks Morgan next, because he honestly, even though he is sorry because he kinda got Owen killed, Morgan still did right by him and the rest of the group by saving their lives. And if he hadn't done that, they would have probably all been vaporized and Daryl would have never gotten the tank. Sasha and Rosita are the next two to thank Morgan because he ultimately not only saved their lives, but he avenged not only Owen, because they knew how much he cared about redeeming Owen, but avenged Abraham, who both of them loved. Dale is the next one to speak out, but it's not really a thank you. It's more or less like a good job, a praise, from what we know Dale to actually give someone like Morgan. Because even though he felt it wrong for Morgan to get up and do that, it worked out in the end. So, ultimately, he thinks that Owen's death was not in vain. Alicia is the next one to thank Morgan and also apologize and say that she's truly forgiven him for... She'll never forget about Travis and what Morgan did, but she now knows why it happened, how it happened, and especially now because of this, she trusts him more. She cares about him more. And it's a great character development for Alicia and Morgan. Madison is the next one to thank Morgan because she ultimately gets to still be alive and their whole group gets to be alive. We know Madison to be a family person, so this would definitely resonate with her. Rick, after all this is said and done, thank yous are done, mourning is done, and the Saviors, no trace of them is left behind, says that they still need to get Maggie to the hilltop, and they need to prepare for the Saviors in case they make a return or another attack. Because just because Negan's dead doesn't mean the battle is over. And it might be easier now, but they still need to prepare. So ultimately, a plan is set in motion. Half of the group will be split to the hilltop, while the other goes to Alexandria to prepare for war. Rosita, Madison, Morgan, Lori, Sasha, Beth, and Dale will all go and take Maggie to the hilltop to make sure she's okay, and ultimately probably leave her there, because if the Saviors are going to be making a comeback, best not to put Maggie in the middle of that, especially when she's pregnant. And the group here in this whole box here is much more fit to be at Hilltop rather than fighting a war. Not to say they're weak, but you guys get what I mean. And the group that will go back to Alexandria will be Alicia, Daryl, Michonne, Rick, Aaron, Carl, and Eugene. And with all of that said, we have the group set for who will go to Hilltop in Alexandria, and the whole plan's set in motion, and the group is ready to leave. But they don't get the chance to, at least not yet, because before anybody can actually get ready to leave or do anything, Daryl is surprise attacked with Lucille straight to his arm. Daryl is walking right alongside the RV when his hand is smashed with Lucille right in his arm. If not breaking his arm, definitely severely injuring it. It is Mitch who survived his arrow to the chest and tries to do something to at least make Negan's and all the Savior's deaths that died not in vain. If it means at least breaking Daryl's arm, that's good enough. But Mitch really did not think that through, because not 2 seconds after Daryl's arm is pretty much broken by Lucille, Alicia guns down Mitch something awful until there is nothing but just 5, 6, 7, however many bullet holes you want to think of in Mitch's chest. But right whenever Mitch is falling to the ground in death, the gun that he's holding goes off. Boom! And it goes straight into Carl's eye. Now, you might think that this is just so convenient. You're just finding a way to make Carl lose his eye. Well, yes and no. I thought that it was more convenient, and Carl still loses his eye just a season later. Not just convenient to make him lose his eye, to cripple him, but just because of the story details, you know? Not like I meant for him to, it's just how it would go, honestly. But anyways, Rick, after seeing all this happen, especially Carl go down and getting shot in the eye, even though Mitch is more than dead by this point thanks to Alicia, Rick machetes the crap out of his body until it's nothing but chopped up bones and guts. Just imagine seeing that for a second. Madison, knowing Rick and how he's going to feel after this, says that there's nothing to worry about. It was just one guy. And yes, Carl did get shot in the eye and Daryl's arm's pretty much broken, but they can just take Carl to Hilltop and make sure he's okay. But they need to get back to Alexandria. It's more important than ever that they're ready for war. And the plan is still in motion, except it's more down now because of what just happened with the whole Mitch situation. Back at the sanctuary, Simon is just utterly furious that, number one, their leader is now dead. They're leaderless, essentially. And that they're going to have to pull out all the stops against a group that he thought was not going to be any kind of problem for the Saviors to take over. But how will it go? Will Simon be able to rally every single Savior at his disposal? Will they even listen to him? And do you think with the tank at Alexandria's side, the Saviors will even have a chance at making retribution for Negan's death? And that's where we're going to leave things for the moment. Once again, bit longer than my standard episodes, besides finales. But honestly, because of everything that's happened, once again, it honestly required the episode to be this long. Because of the details and just how everything has went. But long or not, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode and are enjoying the series. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, leave a comment, and I will see you guys next time.